Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Soul Time Real Estate Unplugged. I am Lauren Thomas.
And I'm Naya Patterson.
And we are your favorite realtors and podcast hosts, of course. We want to thank you guys again for all of our new subscribers. Thank you guys for following us on all of our platforms. We just appreciate all of the love and feedback that you all have been showing us. So thank you. Again, this podcast is just a fun and exciting way for you guys to find out information about real estate, whether you are a first-time home buyer or a seasoned investor. You're definitely in the right place. We just want to make sure that we're giving you information, but in a more exciting way. And we felt like stories was going to be one of the best ways for you guys to get this information. So enough about me and us talking. So we are going to get started of our story of the week, and we call this one TMI.
TMI, too much info. As a real estate agent, I once had an unexpected and somewhat awkward experience while showing a property to a potential buyer. I was working with a couple who were interested in purchasing their first home, and we had visited several properties during the day. The last property we visited was a beautifully decorated house with an open concept living room and kitchen. As we were exploring the property, the couple decided to sit down at the kitchen island to discuss their thoughts. They seemed quite enamored with the house, and I was excited about the possibility of making a sale. However, the situation took an awkward turn when they started discussing their personal relationship in detail. They began talking about their future together, how they envisioned their lives in the new home, and even their plans to start a family. While I was happy for them, the conversation became increasingly intimate and affectionate, and then they started arguing. The conversation went very left, from speaking about finances, their parents, who was not coming to live with them, who was a burden. I tried to discreetly give them some space and explored the rest of the house on my own, hoping that they would wrap up their discussion. After what felt like an eternity, they finally noticed my absence and apologized for oversharing. I reassured them that I was there to help them find their dream home and that it was perfectly fine to get caught up in the excitement and normal. We continued the tour, and they eventually decided to make an offer on that property. While the situation was a bit awkward, it served as a reminder that home buying can be an emotional and personal journey for many clients. As a real estate agent, I had to be patient and understanding, always ready to guide them through the process and provide the best possible service. I think that this agent handled it well, though.
I agree.
Have you ever had that happen to you where like they were just discussing the home and then like it got into a more serious argument or like too detailed?
I feel like, yes, I have, but not to that, I think, extent. Like, they weren't sitting at the kitchen table, like having a whole like meeting about finances and things, but like as we're like walking through the house, they may be talking about things. But I do get a lot of couples that are in disagreement about whether or not that's the house for them. So one spouse may agree that this is everything we've been looking for, where the other spouse is like, nah, this is not the location though. This is not the house for us. So I do get that quite a bit. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm standing there like looking at them back and forth, and I will walk away like this agent did and kind of give them some time, but they're usually, standing in the kitchen or walking around the house as they're doing that. So I will say, I'll just say, I've had that happen. What about you?
For me, it's been the same thing where they're kind of just like talking about it as we walk through, but nothing has ever like turned left or where they were like saying all those details about who's not invited and who's a burden and like stuff like that. They've just been generally talking about like, oh, like this would be great for, what we wanted to do with an office space, and we could use this room for this and that, and our furniture could fit in, like stuff like that, which is like normal. It hasn't gone left, luckily, but it is always I think takes a little bit an extra layer of like patience and grace and maybe like support when you're working with a couple, because like it is two people making a unified decision.
Yep.
So like, you know, it can get a little tricky there if you know, certain things are working for one person but not for the other person. So
yeah. No, I agree. That's actually a really good point, because you know, when you're purchasing something on your own, you really don't have anyone to, you know,
right. You don't got to go back and forth with nobody but yourself.
This is it, right? This is it. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do.
I like it. Okay.
You may be arguing back and forth with yourself, like, do I want to do this? But usually, you know, it's usually with couples, and you know, it's fine. It's normal. It's nothing. You know, that it's like, oh my God, you should be embarrassed about. You should not be embarrassed about doing that, especially if you really feel like, okay, this could be our house. And honestly, I was kind of like, y'all start arguing in the house. They probably wanted to see, is this a good house for us to have arguments in? Like, we can't just be all happy-go-lucky when we first see the house. How does it feel when we start arguing?
Is it enough space, right, to separate yourselves when you need a moment? That's something to consider.
And it seemed like they put an offer in. It seemed like it had enough space. So I would say, okay, it did its job. It served its purpose for them to sit in that house, have a conversation, and really like narrow down everything about it. And sometimes as a realtor, like, we got to respect that, and we got to just give them some space. Now, if it's a busy house, y'all,
you ain't gonna have that much time and space inside the house.
You're not. You're
the
just
next
not.
showing's gonna be knocking on the door.
And we gotta go. So y'all gonna have to make decisions quick. You know, we got about 45 minutes to sit in the house and decide whether or not, you know, it's the one for you. Then we gotta go. So y'all just can't be in there, you know, all day. But it's definitely a I don't know if I would do that. I'm thinking like me and my husband will read sitting there and doing that when we purchased our house. I'm thinking like, were we? I don't think so. I think we had already knew walking in like, okay, this is something that we both want. Because honestly, if it wasn't, we wouldn't have went to go see it.
Even gone see it. Yes. Yeah. It's some couples are very like so clear about it that like you don't, when you're going to see the house, it's either like, okay, we're going to see this one and it's one of them.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, great.
Ain't no question. That's
but
it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's funny because like sometimes it is a more like cut and dry, you know, we know it's got to be one or two.
Yep.
But sometimes, yeah, it's a bit more like, we got to see a little bit more,
right?
Touch and walk and feel a little bit more. So yeah, it's funny.
And that's
everybody's
fine.
different.
Yeah, and I'm like, every single client is different, and that's like one of my favorite things about this job is that we never meet the same person twice. Like, obviously, if it's the same person, yes, but I mean like same personality, same like this is what I want in a house. This is what I want in a location. We're never meeting that same person twice. It's just not happening. Because every single person is different. Every couple is different. Every buyer, whether you're a first-time home buyer or this is your sixth house that you're purchasing, doesn't matter. Everybody's different, and this is a, you know, it's a good way to show that purchasing a house, regardless of where you are in the process, it can be very emotional. So if you are sitting in a house with your spouse and you're like, we got to talk this through so that we can decide if it's the one for us, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
It's okay. Do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And we'll be there. We'll be patient enough. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good point.
Yeah. And don't push like realtors again, because we're patient. You just can't push your clients. Like, now, if you got to get out the house, it's different. Push them out the house. But if you are like, all right, y'all, like, come on, you got to. It's not a easy decision to make for some people, and it is a very big purchase. It's going to be one of the biggest purchases that buyers make. So you as a realtor, you standing there, you know, and trying to rush them to make this decision, it's only going to put more stress on them, and it's not going to help the situation at all. Next thing you know, they arguing with you. We don't want that. We want them to argue between each other, and then we step in and we are the middle ground. We are the mediators there to kind of help out. So
yeah, I like how you said that. We're the middle ground, the mediators. We're there, you know, if necessary and, you know, invited to, we can help you determine, you know, if there's like a specific thing that the couple is kind of going back and forth with, we can step in and say like, you know, I remember when we first talked, it was really, really important, or, you know, this was your goal.
Yep.
So let's think about that thing. Does this home support that? You know, yes or no, or, you know, so like we are going to give y'all the space, not push you. But if it's if there's a moment where we can help remind you of what your goals were from the beginning, or, you know, what the end goal is, and help you filter like, okay, then, so knowing this is the goal, does this support that? And then we can make a decision.
That's a great point, because some buyers, like, that goes out their head.
Yeah.
Because we do buyer consultations. So by the time we actually get to, like, seeing houses, some buyers forget what they told us. We not going to forget.
Nope. And you know I'm going to go back to that goal sheet.
Yep. And remind y'all, this is what you said. Remember, like, y'all changing it up a little bit, but don't forget to go back to that core value, which you were looking for, the most important things, because you have your needs, right? You got 3 things that are needed in a house, and then everything else are wants. So if y'all are arguing over the wants, but you have all the needs, there's really no point to be arguing about it. You discuss it and you say, okay, sometimes one spouse is going to get, you know, their wants more than another. It just happens, and that's okay, because you're not going to be able to get everything in a house. Right. You're just not, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. Yeah. It's just not going to happen, and it's not your forever house. So y'all going to argue about it, and you're like, okay, you're going to get it on this time. We get the next house. And I'm going to get it
next time.
Okay, and I'm going to get it even bigger and better.
On the bigger budget. That's fine with me.
So sometimes y'all just got to, you know, take the good with the bad, okay? Yeah. And just understand that, you know, it is an emotional process for not all parties. The realtor is really not that emotional with it, but
we have to be unemotional and very, you know, clear, level-minded for them.
Yeah. We do, yeah. Because then we all in the house arguing. Right. We don't want that. So we definitely do try to keep it very, again, light for the client, so that it's still a joyous process. Even though you may be a little stressed out at the moment, we're going to bring that back down and try to take that stress off of you and put it onto us. Yeah. And we just want y'all in a house, and we want y'all happy. Yes. So that when y'all are at the signing table, listen, I would rather, tell me if you agree or not, I would rather a couple argue with each other amongst themselves in a house right before we put an offer in, and then than the couple arguing at the closing table. Oh yeah. Right before they're about to get their keys, and we're trying to sign documents, and they are arguing because they were like, are you sure this is the house? Are you sure we should? We don't want that. Ooh. So we would rather y'all go ahead and get it all out while we are in a house before we even submitted an offer, and get it all out. So don't feel embarrassed. Get out what you need to get out. And if you need us to step in or need any type of help, that's what we're there for, because we rather that happen than instead of doing it at closing table. Because when we get to the closing table, it's 30 minutes. You're in and out, and you get your keys. We want y'all happy, and we want y'all just so satisfied and excited about closing on your house. And y'all can't do that if y'all arguing with one another.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I agree. Get all of it out. Take your time. You know, really think about it. And yeah.
So that's it. That's all I got for y'all for that one. So we will wrap up this episode, and we'll wrap up another amazing week. We hope you guys enjoyed this one, because we know that, especially if some of y'all have already bought a house with y'all spouses, that y'all probably went through it. So we just want to make sure y'all know it's nothing to be embarrassed about, nothing to be ashamed about, because it's going to happen. And we just want to make sure y'all get into your home.
Yeah. And it's a big decision.
So, yeah, it is a very big decision. So again, thank you guys. That's just another into our episode, and we want to again thank you for watching, enjoying this little journey with us. And if you have a tale to tell or a story to share, please do so on our website. You could do it via audio. You can email us and write the story out. Either way, we're happy to accept it, and we will definitely go ahead and share it on our show. And you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. You can also find us if you just want to listen to us and not watch the visuals. We are on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, iHeartRadio. You can pretty much find us on any podcast platform. So again, we want to say thank you, and we really hope you enjoy your week.
Enjoy your week.